Super Bowl champions.
Swing of the miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Flyers are going to win the Stanley Cup. The Flyers win the Stanley Cup for the lead. Yes!
Iverson, wow, what a fake off Daniels as he broke his ankles and got all the way to the cup.
I think our opening to the show is the best thing about Philly sports right now. I really think that is the conclusion that I've come to as I was smiling watching your awesome videos that you put together. I'm like, this is the best thing about Philly sports right now because there's nothing going on.
The best thing about it is the stuff that already happened.
Yeah.
What's going on right now. And Rich, if you think back to that day where like everything went right. Right? There was the between the Joel Embiid shot, the Eagles draft, they trade for AJ Brown, they acquire Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
The next day they get Nakobe Dean. The Phillies, I think, won that. Like the Phillies, I think they all won on the same they all won on the same day. Everything was going right. But since that point,
nothing has gone right. It's just been despair. The
Phillies blew the 7-run lead in the ninth to the Mets. Joel Embiid messes up his hand, his face, his head. They lose. They play yo-yo with us, and they go back and forth, and they lose 2, then they win 2, and then you think you're in, and then you get punched in the face, and they don't show up for game 6, 5 and 6. Like, nothing has gone right.
I just feel like we're stuck in like that Philly sports Groundhog Day where it's so close and it's so far. And the funny thing is, like, I had my hopes up, which I think is the worst thing to do as a Philadelphia sports fan, is to have those hopes up. But I was so confident with Joe coming back and winning game 3 and game 4 and just like, you know what? It's our time. Like it is that year. And then I'm constantly reminded that it's not. And you can see they spit on your cupcake and tell you it's frosting, you know?
Oh.
And I ate that cupcake and I instantly regretted it because when I tasted that frosting, I'm like, no, this is a smoker, heavy smoker, and they spit on my cupcake. Why would you do that to me? Like, why would you do that to me? And that's how I feel about my relationship with Philadelphia sports is like, why are you doing this to me? Did I deserve this? Have I done something wrong? It's like that bad breakup where you didn't do anything wrong, but you're made to feel like the bad person. And then you start like, you have that inner conflict with yourself, and then you start reflecting. And then everything that person says is like, oh my God, I am a shitty person. But it's like, but I didn't do anything wrong. Like, that's how I feel with Philadelphia sports. They make me feel like a terrible person because I keep doing this to myself. I do it to myself, John. I don't have anybody to blame. Just me.
When you thought you were out,
they pull you back in.
Again, right? That meme that was going around about that looks like the recycling sign, right? The Philly season starts. Let's wait for the Eagle season.
That's pretty much.
Wait for this, and it's literally just waiting for that next season to come. And like, Rich, like even worse than Groundhog Day. Like, I thought about this the other day, maybe this weekend. I was outside doing some yard work and just thinking about random sports stuff. And I think about, like, do you ever remember anyone? And I'm sure you remember people hearing it because it was all over everywhere. But like the idea that like you sell your soul for the Super Bowl, right? I'll give up 10 years of shitty sports.
I never did that. But here's the thing. I never made that agreement.
I know, but it made me think about that like what everything in that season went right.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's you have to everything has to align. Like the stars and the planets align in this weird configuration that blessed us and made it happen. But when people say, "Oh, maybe did we sell our souls?"
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm going to raise my hand and tell you,
Right. Yeah.
If I'm selling my soul,
Right.
I am selling it for something way better than an Eagle Super Bowl. As much as I wanted it, I'm not selling my soul for that. There is a price to my soul. I will not tell you what it is, but it's not one Super Bowl. Would it be 10 consecutive Super Bowls? Maybe, because that's just never-ending joy over 10 years. And 10 years of telling Dallas fans how bad they fucking suck. Like looking them in the eyes and being like, you fucking suck. And you're, Don, Adam, other dude I didn't see. I'm sorry. What's up, guys? How are you? I'm a terrible, but here, that's me though. I'm inconsiderate. I'm a terrible person. So of course, like somebody's name will pop up and I don't recognize their picture. Kevin, hello. Sorry.
That's our family friend. That's our personal plumber.
I apologize. And you have an awesome last name. So God blessed you with a receding hairline, but with an awesome last name. So I salute
and
you,
Rich,
sir.
You'll appreciate this. Our group chat is McCoolaway.
I like that. I like that. See, it's all good things. But see, and this is where we transition to the positive because we're smiling now, Don. We're smiling. Right. I'm done sulking about that. But I'm just saying, I didn't sell my soul for that. So we're going to move forward. And we got –
listen, in terms of mental health awareness, that was your get rid of all your shitty thoughts.
Yeah.
Because in the meantime, Rich, just after we had our last episode, the Eagles season, the calendar comes out.
I love it.
And my first thoughts are
we don't lose. We win 12 games.
There are a ton of winnable games.
We should win 12 games. I'm not even lying. We should. If everything goes according to plan, we win 12 games. There's just no. I just don't see it. I just don't see us losing more than 4 games, if that.
Yeah, I mean,
with our strength of schedule being so low, and let's be real, Dallas didn't get any better this offseason. To me, they got worse. Washington didn't get better because they got Carson Wentz, and the Giants are the Giants. Like, okay, they drafted well, but that's it.
Right.
You still have Daniel Jones. So
yeah, if that's the guy that's still throwing the quarterback, if he's still your quarterback and he's still throwing the ball to Kadarius Toney, like your problems
guy that they cannot get rid of, who they are trying to trade. Why? Because he's a moron. But that's the thing. You draft people for their athletic abilities, not their abilities to think. So that's what happens when you draft Kadarius Toney, a guy out of Florida who's an absolute fucking moron. And was a head case at Florida. Stupid as stupid does. But that's Gettleman for you. Gettleman's a fucking moron. Then they fired him, brought in the new guy. And did you see the assistant GM? They showed like the video of the assistant GM sitting there like looking at the new GM, like after they like made a pick or something. He's like, what the fuck are we doing? I think it was after they drafted the wide receiver. He like looked and was like, what the like, that's what we're fucking doing here? We have 9 wide receivers and they all caught combined 0 touchdowns last year.
Right. So listen, as long as as long as Danny Dimes is the quarterback more like Danny Pennies, you know, it to me they're an afterthought in this division.
Just call him Danny because he doesn't have anything. He doesn't deserve anything. You know he's like Seal, but Seal's way cooler.
Maybe like
just
Dan. He's just Dan.
Oh, Dan. Oh, we all know that.
Dan.
Oh, Dan. Fuck, Dan's here. Damn it.
But like, Dan. Rich, like the way that they open up the schedule, right there, they open up at Detroit.
Which should be a win.
It's a very, very extremely winnable game, right? Mm-hmm. They come home, they play Minnesota at home, which is which is a win. Then they go at Washington.
Win.
Right, home against the Jaguars.
Win.
Right, so if we break down, like if we look at this season in quarters, right, in that first quarter of games, every one of those games is they're all on paper right? On paper, they're
They
all
need,
winnable.
and here's the thing: they need to go 4-0.
Right. Because
if they do not go 4-0, there's something in there that happens where it's either an injury or, let's see, an untimely missed field goal, bad clock management. Those 4 games are where you can come out and step on necks in the beginning to show, okay, maybe we are a true contender, or maybe we are taking the strides to be better as a coaching staff, as an organization, with our player personnel. Like that, those first 4 games, which are all super winnable games, you need to go 4-0 because it shows the statement of we don't play down to our competition. We beat them and we move on. Like that's what needs to happen because there's no team in there that we should be afraid of or that won more than what? I think who was it? What did you say again? It was Detroit who won a game last year.
So Lions, Vikings, the Commanders, the Commies. And
what do they have? Jaguars. What do they have? 18 wins combined?
It's not good.
18 wins combined between the 4 teams. Like you need to win that. Right. You need to prove that you getting to the playoffs last year was not a fluke and you just ran into the buzzsaw of Tom Brady and that you can adjust on defense and offense. That's what those 4 games are going to show you.
Right. And if you look at their offseason moves, right, they've done a really good job at kind of rehabilitating that roster kind of really quickly. And I think that signing today with Bradbury, right, that to me tells me that this is a win now season.
I'm throwing Bradbury's season last year out just because of how putrid the Giants organization is and how terrible of a head coach Joe Judge is. Like James Bradbury had his worst statistical season last year. Like he was absolutely abysmal. But yet again, they didn't have a secondary. Their offense stunk. They were on the field for all the time. And honestly, I think James Bradbury just didn't have it in him. And I'm not upset. What upsets me is these guys. This is why I don't like players who are impact guys going to terrible franchises for money. Because when things get tough and things get rough, they're going to quit and then they're going to want out. Because it happens with every single athlete that goes to a market that can pay you but are absolutely atrocious. Well, you give up halfway and then you want to get traded or you get cut and then you sign with a team who's going to use you correctly. Bradbury alongside Slay is going to be dangerous if Bradbury reverts to 2020 Bradbury.
Right, and that secures your outside, right? So really, technically speaking, the only hole on defense is really that hole at safety, right? Because now Slay and Bradbury are going to be on the outside. Maddox slides to the slot. You've got Hassan Reddick. You've got Kazir White. You've got Nakobe Dean. You've got that second level of that defense, right? And then you look along the line, right? Go through the list. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Hargrove, Josh Sweat, Jordan Davis, Teron Jackson. Like you've got guys that you are going to be able to cycle through really quickly.
That's a good front seven. I hate giving that jerk off weasel Howie credit, but holy fuck, did he pull some rabbits out of his ass?
Yeah.
Yo, Jay, what's up, buddy?
What's going on?
I hate giving that weasel credit, but man, he revamped that front seven and got us that big ticket wide receiver that we needed and drafted well, which is so fucking crazy to say.
Yeah.
It's like, but you know what? I think he's starting to listen to the football people more and they want to get back invested because they're still interviewing a bunch of football guys for the vacated positions within the organization, which is great. I think they're starting to realize you can be as analytical as you want, but tape don't lie. You have to go off of the player's strengths and what fit your system and guys who are just absolutely dominating at their position.
Yep.
Yeah, Jay, we got to get you on.
Yeah,
definitely got to do something. I would love that. I would love to talk.
Like I'm looking at this roster and I'm going, I like where this roster sits, especially compared to where they were last year, right? The upgrades that they've made on the second level, on the D line, and now, you've essentially secured your outside, your slot. So
I like the signing of Bradbury because it was $10 million. I know the Saints overpaid for Matthew. So Honey Badger got overpaid. I mean, I'm glad the Eagles didn't offer him that money because he's going to play 4 games.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
I mean, I like Kaiser White. I think Kaiser White's going to play the Malcolm Jenkins role, and I think that's what they were missing. They want that hybrid safety, one deep look with a safety who can be a run stuffer and tackle, and I think Kaiser White's going to fit that perfectly because I don't think they're going to come out with a traditional defense because they really didn't come out with a traditional defense last year. But now you actually have the linebacking core to back up that play. I think that Gannon isn't – I don't think Gannon's a genius, but I think he's going to be smart enough to play to his team's needs or to their strengths, I must say. I messed that up, not needs, strengths. And that's what's going to be the best thing. It's going to be very unconventional.
Right, but I think you also sit in a place where you give yourself a lot of flexibility, right? Like they can, if they decide that they want to play, the 3-4 in some sets, right? They have the linebacking flexibility now to be able to put T.J. Edwards on with Kaiser White and Hassan Reddick and Nakobe Dean, and you also have what you're going to see. I think a lot of what you saw in that Georgia defense. Right, where you see big guys up front that are consuming the offensive line, right, which frees those guys on that second level, which are a lot of guys that can run sideline to sideline.
They have a track star in that kid from Kansas.
Oh, right.
He's a big boy who runs quick. If he's an athlete,
Kyron Johnson.
Yeah, he's an athlete. Who's to say that they can't be like, hey, dude, why don't we try you at safety? You have elite speed. We work on your ball skills. Who's to say that you can't transition him into safety? And he's a big boy. The problem is he's tall and he's skinny.
Yeah.
Most tall and skinny guys tend to play, who are pretty quick and athletic, play safety. Who's to say that athlete cannot be converted into a safety? They did the right thing in this draft. They went for guys who were athletic, and they got a bunch of athletes. They got guys who you could put in hybrid positions. I like the way they drafted because I'm looking at it, okay, you have a need at safety, but you just drafted 3 fucking athletes. Who's to say you can't convert one?
Well, and you look at what their history is in terms of drafting guys and slotting them in different positions. Right. And I think that's when you look back at this draft 3 to 5 years from now, this draft class, even though it's small, I think you're going to see a lot of impact from those guys. And we can't forget to throw A.J. Brown into that draft class because you utilize one of those first round picks. Now you're going to get so much more than first round pick player production from him. You're going to get 1,000 yards. You're going to get, I don't know, what do you call it? Like, now you're going to get a ton of production from him. So for me, I'm not looking at his limitations, and I'm looking at like this is just going to create a ton of flexibility on the offense because now you can't double team him without
double team Slim Reaper,
right?
Or Goddard.
You can't double both of them because then you're going to leave Quez open in the slot, or you're going to leave Goddard open in the flat. You're going to have
Quez isn't going to play the slot. Zach Pascal is probably going to be the slot guy.
I forgot about him.
Our good old possession receiver. He's probably going to be our 3, but he's probably going to do a lot of inside stuff or outside stuff, and they're probably going to move Smith into the slot because he's just going to be a mismatch for any nickel. So I would like to see Devontae Smith move into the slot a lot. A.J. Brown slide into the slot. I want to see more use of like Devontae Smith in the Justin Jefferson role because he can run that route tree. He runs every single route. So you could utilize him as a Justin Jefferson. I just hate saying it. It just all comes down to the progression of Hurts. Hurts needs to be accurate have better finesse and touch on his deep ball. There needs to be good improvements. But if A.J. Brown was working out with him and A.J. Brown saw something in him, I'll take that.
Yeah, no, and listen.
I'll take a Pro Bowl wide receiver saying, hey, I want to play with this kid. So let's see what the kid's got.
And listen, and Jay brings up a good point, right? You know, that year 4 for Ertz is when he took that big jump and separated himself from Selleck. So, you know, I think this could be that year for Dallas Goedert.
He just needs to stay healthy. That's it.
And Rich, here's the other thing that I like is that let's just say hypothetically that Jalen Hurts shows that he can't handle this in this season. Gardner Minshew is a very, very credible backup to be able to bring up where he can facilitate the ball all over the field. Not to say I really want to utilize this year as a way to say, hey, listen, either he can or can't.
Yeah.
And know that we can use that cap flexibility and those draft picks next year to address that.
Mm-hmm.
Or best case scenario is that you figure out a way to utilize him best in this offense and you let it run and it's great. And you can not invest that draft capital in a quarterback and then keep filling out this roster. Draft a safety, draft another corner, draft a running back. Like you're going to have the cap flexibility to be able to make this roster young, fast.
And a bunch of guys are coming off the books next year. So, I mean, that helps. You lose Hargrave's contract, Fletcher Cox, obviously, with his restructuring and signing back and all that jazz but he's going to be gone. You're going to lose some guys where you're going to gain some money so you can address some holes. I just want to see Hurts make that progression. I am not calling on Gardner Minshew to be our savior.
Oh, God, no. But I'm saying he's there, and he's facilitate capable. That.
Yeah.
Very capable, especially with the weapons that are on offense right now.
Yeah, and the good thing is if something does happen and he has to play and he plays well, you can honestly you trade Hurts and you trade Minshew and you get picks out of it, and then you address that quarterback issue. I mean, and the funny thing is in free agency and trades, there's always quarterbacks who come up. So it could be some Joe Schmo quarterback who is a backup for, I don't know, the Titans or somewhere. I'm just throwing out names. But there's always a quarterback who's going to be on the move. Thank you, Jack.
Appreciate it, Jack.
It's just like one of those things like I look at, there's always going to be that surprise of, a quarterback could be on the move. So you could get a veteran guy. But like you said, best case scenario, I just want Hurts to just take that step because I don't want to have to worry about the quarterback position. I want to worry about building that defense, getting another wide receiver to have a pair. Like, imagine having another wide receiver with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and another game changer. Like, holy shit. Like, are you kidding me? Like, 3 guys you can't cover and Dallas Goedert?
Right.
I would like to see a running back. I would like to see a better running back. I love Miles Sanders, but I want to see a downhill, heavy-hitting motherfucking running back. Like, I'm sick of watching Booby Miles do his dancing. I want to see a fucking lumberjack just barreling down dudes and just, setting that physicality tone. Okay, I'm going to hit you first. I want to pound this fucking ball down your throat. And now we're going to kill you with play action because you're worried about me running over your second and third line. Like, that's what I want to see. And I think we missed that toughness at running back. I think, like, our running backs are too, like, finessey, and we're just missing that. Jordan Howard is what he is, but I don't want to see Jordan Howard on this team. I don't give a fuck. I want to see a young fucking stud just running dudes over. Like, I'm really pissed off that we don't have A.J. Dillon, like when we should have drafted A.J. Dillon 2 years ago, because that guy just fucking hurts when he hits you. Like, that's what I want. That's what I want from my running back. A guy who inflicts pain and can still rush for our 100, 120 yards.
Oh, Rich, well, listen, you've got, and I'm just going to go to the best team that's in college football, right? If you go and look at the starting running back for Alabama, right? 5'10", 200 pounds, right? Just a guy who's guys that aren't going to be guys that are going to take any crap from anybody, right? 5'10", 212, right? Guys that are just going to come in and just be monsters.
Yeah.
So I'm here for it all. I love the idea of being able to add weapons, right? Just keep adding weapons, drafting I think they've done a really good job at drafting the best guy available.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I mean, I have no complaints, and I hate giving that guy credit, but hey, it is what it is. I can't say that I can't poo-poo on it, you know? I just can't be like, oh, I hate Howie, so this. It's like, no. The A.J. Brown thing was clutch. Looking back on it, yes, I wanted Kyle Hamilton, but you know what? We got Jordan Davis, who is going to be a freak for years to come. And then getting Nakobe Dean in the third is just like okay,
Rich, did you see the picture of him standing side by side with Fletcher Cox?
Yeah, he's scary. He's huge.
I had to send it to somebody and just say, like, okay, the guy in the white shirt is 6'4", 315 pounds. And Jordan Davis is taller, wider, bigger, stronger,
faster.
Like
it's fucking scary.
Faster. It's scary. So it's like scary.
He's going to hurt a lot of people, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Even if he plays the same percentage of snaps, right, he's still going to be on the field for more than a quarter to a half of the snaps. And if you're playing that rotation in, right, it's going to give him more of an opportunity to get that rest and be impactful when he's on the field. So
does Carson Wentz survive if Jordan Davis hits him?
Oh. No, not at all.
No chance. He's going to be dead.
No chance. So, Rich, back to this schedule. The second set of games is at Arizona.
Doesn't scare me.
Home against the Cowboys. Home against the Steelers, and then at the Texans on Thursday night.
We're going to lose to the Texans because
really
home teams Thursday night. Big game against Pittsburgh's a grinder of a team. I look at that. That's going to be just you have to always look at the Thursday night games as you favor the home team. As much as I want the Eagles to win, you favor the home team in those matchups. We're going to play a meaningful game because we're going to be riding a 7-game win streak or 6-game win streak going into the Steelers. The Steelers, no matter who's their quarterback, they're always in games because their defense is tough.
Yeah.
And we play them in Pittsburgh, right?
No, that's at home.
That's at home? Okay, so Pittsburgh's going to come out and do what Pittsburgh does in away games and run the fucking ball all the time and chew up possession because that's what Pittsburgh does in away games. They like to control the clock and get out unscathed. Mike Tomlin's been doing this for the past 10 years, and it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, they're going to protect the young quarterback. They'll run the ball, get guys in space.
And I think that's going to be a tough showing. Like I do think the Steelers, because that defense is still tough. And then you go to Houston on a short week after playing a tough game, a tough physical game against the Steelers, and Houston steals one from you. It's not that I think Houston's a good team. It's just Thursday night football. Put it down. Rich said it. Houston wins by 6.
So I think in that stretch, I think they split. I think they go 2-2.
I don't think they lose against Arizona because D-Hop's still going to be out.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And Kyler Murray we play them there though, right?
That's at Arizona. Yeah.
Is it a 4:00 game?
It's a 4:30.
Okay. So that's fine. I'm not worried about that. I think we match up stronger, especially with the addition of Bradbury and Jordan Davis to that front line, that James Conner is not going to be like running all over us. We're going to make Kyler Murray beat us. And Kyler Murray, the past 2 seasons, really hasn't been beating teams by himself. And without D-Hop, his numbers are just bad. So
no, when Hopkins is not playing,
we win.
All right.
Yeah, when Hopkins is playing.
And then you got Washington at home, at the Colts, home against the Packers, and then home against Tennessee.
We beat Tennessee. We lose to the Packers, and we We lose to who else was it?
Washington and then the Colts.
Colts is going to be tough. That's a coin flip. But we should.
And it's at Indy. Remember, they got Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Right? So you got some. He's a guy who's going to be a game manager, who's going to be.
Hey, they stopped Jonathan Taylor. I think they're going to be okay. So we'll see what happens there. But I think honestly, and I don't like knock on wood. I'm not trying to be like a homer douchebag, but I think we do sweep the NFC East, barring injuries.
Okay.
Because we should. Like I said, Dallas didn't get any better. They got worse. Washington didn't get any better. They got worse, just strictly on quarterback play alone. And the Giants are not trending in the right direction. Yes, you might have drafted well, but you have 48 wide receivers you can't do anything with.
Right.
And Saquon can't stay healthy. So I am not afraid of you.
I got you. Right. And then they end the season. They got at the Giants. They got this is the stretch where I think they might there's a chance that they lose 2 out of these 3. Right. When they play at New York, at Chicago, at Dallas, and then they finish at home with the Saints and Giants. I think that stretch of having 3 away games in a row, right? I think that.
But the Bears are so fucking bad, though. The Bears have no defense. They have no Khalil Mack anymore. Khalil Mack's gone.
I know.
Robert Quinn, I think, wants to be traded. Justin Fields got 0 help. They drafted 1 wide receiver, and it was in the 5th round. It was a kid from Tennessee who had like 215 yards receiving last year. They have no one. What'd you say?
I feel better now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the Bears did.
I feel better.
The Bears did absolutely nothing to address their offensive line. They did nothing to help Justin Fields out, and they literally took shots on the dark on really terrible players because they had no first-round pick. They gave it up for Justin Fields, and then he's gonna fall on the sword not this year but next year because the organization is so fucking bad. That's what's going to happen to Justin Fields. Like, let's be real. The dude was set up for failure. He's going to fail. The Bears aren't going to be any threat. The Giants, no threat. The Saints, oh my God, they traded 48 picks for Chris Olave. That is fantastic. Good for you, Saints. You still don't scare me.
No, and I think even them bringing in Jarvis Landry, that to me is kind of like a hope that he can be productive for Jameis Winston. Like I like
Jameis Winston as a quarterback.
Rich, but I look at the one thing that stands out to me before we wrap it up. I like the idea that when I look at the teams that they're playing, the only real quarterback that really scares me
is Aaron Rodgers.
That's it. Right? Everybody else, right? You're looking at Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, Trevor Lawrence, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott,
Pickett or Trubisky.
Like, yeah, I mean, go,
Justin Fields.
Tannehill, Justin Fields, Jameis Winston, like, who's the guy who's the quarterback in for the Texans? Davis Mills, right? Like, there's not a quarterback to me that's going to win a game for their team besides Aaron Rodgers, and that game's at home. But they're playing 5 primetime games, right? So I think that the league is on notice that this team is on the come. Yeah, so,
as they should be. I mean, I'm looking at this team. I feel confident. I am worried that people are going to be overzealous because they're going to see, oh my God, the Eagles are the truth because they won 12 games. I don't think they're the truth yet. I need to see how well they gel over this next year and give me the following year. Yes, I can think they can be the truth. I'm not all in this year because just off the schedule alone and not playing a lot of, I mean, how many of those teams that we play made the playoffs? 3? 4?
3. I think
4.
4.
Tennessee. Green Bay.
Arizona.
Indianapolis didn't make it. That's right. Because Carson Wentz fucked them. That's great.
Arizona.
So and Steelers? Steelers
And
make
the
it?
Steelers. Yep, and the Steelers. They played in the
So
wild
four.
card. Yeah.
We play 4 playoff teams who are one team is obviously strong because of Aaron Rodgers, but let's slow that down because without Devontae Adams, I want to see how he is able to be without being able to do that backyard football without one of the best wide receivers in the game. Kyler Murray, you saw the monumental collapse of Arizona after going 10 or 11-0.
Yeah.
They were dog shit. They were dog shit, and they looked fucking terrible in the playoffs. The Steelers are always tough, well-coached team, good organization, scary as all hell. No matter who's their quarterback is, the team scares me. And then Tennessee, A.J. Brown's gone. Robert Woods is coming off an ACL. They did nothing to address the wide receiver position besides drafting Treylon Burks. Okay, cool. But then they spent a 3rd-round pick on the quarterback. So do you have that beef right there? It's already in Tannehill's head. So he's already fucked. So we'll be going against a rookie 3rd-round pick who can't hit water if he fell out of a boat.
Right.
Not afraid. Not afraid.
Yeah. And Chris, no, Baker Mayfield is still Brown?
No, because nobody wants to take on his contract. That's the problem.
No. So,
And nobody wants to give him a contract. So he's not going to get traded. Teams need more draft compensation just to make up for the cap hit that they're going to take, and nobody wants to pay him. So he's going to sit there and be a baby back crybaby bitch because if he was better than Deshaun Watson, he would be playing.
Right. And
Baker Mayfield is not even a top 25 quarterback in this league.
Then if he was who he says he was, then they wouldn't have had to go out and trade for Deshaun Watson and give Deshaun Watson a monster contract.
You had OBJ. You had Jarvis Landry. You had Nick Chubb. You had Kareem Hunt. You still sucked as a quarterback.
Right.
How was that possible? It's
Right,
not like your team was bad. Imagine if he had the Eagles wide receivers last year. How bad would he be?
That was the show me year, right? That is kind of the similar position that Hurts is in right now.
Yeah.
Right.
We got you the weapons. Can you do it?
Right. Can you do it? And the Browns gave him all those weapons and figured out that number 1 overall pick that they invested wasn't what it was. Rich, anything else before you want to go right to final thoughts?
Let's go to final thoughts, Don.
Let's do it.
Oh, man. So many final thoughts. I was just I was driving today, listening to how did this get made podcast. Not about how did things get made, but movies because it's funny. I like laughing. And I'm just sitting there. I'm thinking. I'm man, some of these movies that I really love, they rip apart and are shit. And then you start thinking, Don, go back in time and think of a movie that you love that you haven't seen in a while.
All right.
Just think of it in your head. Tell me if you want. And then now go sit down and watch it. I did this with one of my favorite movies ever, The Never-Ending Story. I went back. I showed Ollie. Ollie loved it. And me and Jamie, Atreyu! And then the fucking dog, which is a pedophile. The dog is a legit pedophile. I'm not even kidding. That dog's a sex offender. It should be arrested, shot, put down. That movie is so fucking terrible and has the weirdest nuances and pervy dogs. How they got away with shit, for kids, you know? I couldn't imagine what my dad was thinking if, he sat down and watched this movie with me, if he was thinking the same fucking thing, or he just wasn't paying attention. But it makes me laugh that, things that we used to love, if you go back and watch them today, they don't hold up. They're extremely fucked up. And it's why did I love this as a kid? Well, you don't understand plots. You don't understand that shit. But, that podcast just makes me laugh so much because I'm
that's great.
It's ridiculous. The one thing, it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. And they always do goofy shit. Secret of the Use. I love that movie. And they made it they're this movie is so fucking terrible. And I'm I get it, but nostalgic for me. But everything they point out was true. But the funniest thing was Jason Mantzoukas said, he's yeah. And Paul pulled up and he's oh, and our April, whatever her name is, April O'Neil. They're oh, and here's a picture of April's camel toe, in the movie. And they go, and then June Diane Raphael's is that a camel toe or a pleat? And then Jason goes, well, the vagina is nature's pleat. And I fucking lost it. I'm that was one of the funniest things I heard. The vagina is nature's pleat. And I'm just dying. I'm It's true, but I'm like, if you want a good laugh, listen to the podcast. It's so funny, and there'll be a movie that you absolutely love on there that is absolutely terrible.
What is it called, Rich?
How did this get made?
How did this get made?
And it's all about bad fucking movies. I love it, but that's it. The vagina is nature's.
I'm on it.
That is my final song. Thank you, Jason Mantzoukas. Listen to this.
We're always on the power of positivity. So
yes.
Shout out to two of our podcasting friends who had some really big, monumental, impactful moments happen in their life. Our boy Scotty over at Scotty Talk Sports and DSM.
Oh, yeah.
Scotty was over in France and got engaged. So shout out to Scotty.
Oh, congrats, Scotty.
And his fiance, Lexi.
Congrats. Welcome to the club.
Great news for them. And then our buddy Mike over at Fired Up Sports announced that they are expecting their third girl. So shout out to Mike and
what a pussy. What a pussy. Couldn't even produce a boy. What a pussy. Jesus.
Positivity, Rich.
Oh, I'm so happy for you, dude.
But shout out to them and
I have three though.
Really,
you're fucking nuts. God, crazy son of a bitch.
Rich, my uncle had not all girls, but had 8 in a row home in Longcrest.
No shit, dude. They all did that back in the day because there's no TV, so the only thing they did was fuck. Like, come on, Don. Like, let's be real. My dad's one of like 11. They fucked. That was their entertainment, Don. There was no Netflix chill. It was just come home, eat some cold fucking steak, and then bang it out. Reckless ass Catholic families.
Oh my God. And on that note, everybody, listen, Rich, to quote our new theme, right? Fuck around and find out.
Yeah, fuck around and find out.
My God, here we go.
You fucked around and you found out. That's what happened.
Listen, before we jump out of here, shout out to our sponsors, La Terrain Luxury Watches, Team Clicks, Team Theme Eyeglassware, Shocked Energy, which on our next broadcast, we will be sampling the apple and watermelon samples that they so graciously
About goddamn time. Thank you for paying attention, Shocked. I'm a fan.
And then we got our Streaker Sports, which is the purveyor of all the sports culture. They've got old defunct teams, leagues, movie gear, all sorts of cool stuff. So go over and check them out. All the links are in our link tree in our bio. You can find those all there. You fuck around and found out.
I'm glad you stayed. Philly, the world, Uzbekistan, because I think we have a fan there.
Oh, listen, Rich, if I pull it up, we got some Papua New Guinea, we got some Uzbekistan, we got
Papua New Guinea, Germany, Russia, which is suspect. Stop following us unless you're the good guys. Stand with Ukraine. I'm watching you, Putin. What if it's Putin? That crazy motherfucker's like, I thought to watch these two douchebag Americans. I fight them in America. I killed them. It's like, all right, Putin, chill, bro. Fuck, we didn't hurt you.
Oh, my God.
We didn't hurt you.
Hey, listen, come check us out, Putin. Fuck around and find out.
Fuck around and find out, Putin. Crazy ass bastard. Philly, we are out.
Later.
The Philadelphia Eagles are